If you have ever felt this, like when you've all of a sudden been faced with an open door or a new opportunity or something that requires you to take a leap of faith, if you have ever felt this anxiety, this tightening, however it feels in your body, you are not broken. You are on the edge of something bigger. You are on the edge of something new. And you are on the cusp of truly embodying the energy that you need to make this leap. Welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today's episode is pretty much a continuation of last week's episode, because last week's episode on embodiment, which is my word of the year, was one of the most well-received episodes that I think I've ever done. I have received so many messages, so many comments. It did something. It awakened something in people. And I love it. And thank you all for everyone who reached out or who commented and let me know like what this episode did for you, because it was probably one of the most well-received episodes, at least within the first, couple of days of it going out. So I'm really excited to see like the longer term numbers on that episode, because the initial reception from you all was amazing, and I love it. So, last week's episode on embodiment, if you have not listened to it yet, you should probably maybe start with that one, or today's may not. It'll make sense. But, what I'm doing in today's episode is we're going one step further. At the time, I've been playing around with lots of titles for this episode, but I think what I'm going to go with is when your old identity tries to pull you back. So this is basically what happens when you finally make that decision to embody a certain type of energy for yourself, a new identity, and you're starting to make those decisions in alignment with the energy that you want to have, and you want to embody that energy. Stuff happens after that, okay? So that's what I'm going to talk about today is what happens next, how I personally work through it, because when I was writing everything out, I realized I kind of have a process that I go through every single time something like this pops up. Okay. All right. So first things first, we're going to set the scene. Okay. Another way that this episode was inspired, was by something that actually happened to me today. So I was thinking about this. I was rolling around with this in my mind. And then I was thinking about last week's embodiment, and I was like, oh my gosh, they overlap. Okay. So this morning I had a meeting, just like a Zoom, Google Hangout meeting. And when I got done with the meeting, I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? This sounds amazing. Like, this sounds great. I think this is the next step that I want to take within my business. And what happened then is I had this feeling come over me, okay? My chest started to tighten. And for me personally, I get this weird feeling on the back of my neck, okay? It's not like the hairs raise on the back of my neck or anything like that. It is like someone or something has taken a grip on the back of my neck, and they are physically trying to hold me there. Okay. So like whenever I'm having very intense conversations about the future or about a big decision I need to make or something, I will often, if you're watching on YouTube, I will often try and pop my neck, because it is this stiff, it's so hard to describe, but it also comes with the chest tightening of anxiety. But for me, that is just over the years of going through this cycle, which I'm going to talk about today. This is how it settles in me. Okay. It starts off in my neck and then goes down into my chest. And there's just a tightness and a heaviness there. Okay. So I decided, or I was sitting there thinking after this meeting was done, and I was like, man, that is a big step. It's a big step for my business. But I was like, God, I want to do it so much. And that's when this heaviness started in my chest. And this is when my neck stiffened. And I need you all to understand from the beginning of this episode that anxiety and fear are not intuitive hits. Okay? They are not. If you are hit with anxiety or a fear or something, however anxiety or fear feels in your body, if you are hit with that, that is not an intuitive hit. An intuitive hit is just a knowing. Okay. And I will explain that when I get to my steps that I go through to process through all of this. But anxiety or fear, that is your old identity trying to keep you small. Okay. And that is your nervous system trying to keep you safe and protected. Okay. So that's how I knew. I had this thought of like, man, this is a great opportunity. I love this. It's really, like it's a big leap for us, but I think it's something I want to do. That's when I felt that anxiety, that feeling in the back of my neck. And I knew immediately, just because I know my body so well, I've been through this a million times. I knew that this was my old identity popping up, trying to keep me small. Okay. So my gut was saying, hell yes, but my nervous system was saying, this is scary. Okay. Which leaps are scary, change is scary. But I've mentioned it in the past. Your nervous system is wired to keep you safe. It is wired to have you see potential threats and then make movements so that you are not killed. So that's what happens. Your nervous system will freak out because it's your body's response system. It is your thing saying, we need to keep you safe and protected. Okay. So if you have ever felt this, like when you've all of a sudden been faced with an open door or a new opportunity or something that requires you to take a leap of faith, if you have ever felt this anxiety, this tightening, however it feels in your body, you are not broken. You are on the edge of something bigger, okay? You are on the edge of something new. And you are on the cusp of truly embodying the energy that you need to make this leap, okay? So what is actually happening when your body gets flooded with this shit, okay? You're being tested, plain and simple. That is what's happening here. You're being tested. So many people are like, oh my gosh, does the universe test me? Yes, it does. The universe, your higher power, your new identity, the new version of you that you want to move into, whatever you want to call it, it 100% tests you, okay? And it does this for a reason. It sends you that old boyfriend who you have a horrible relationship, that ex-boyfriend, you have a horrible relationship, but for whatever reason, you keep just going back to him, even though it ends up worse every single time. Yes, that is your new identity saying, you said you don't want to be with him anymore. Well, here he is. Now, are you going to make the same decision? Okay? That's exactly what happens. Whatever decision you make, you're like, I'm not going to be this person anymore. I want to be a healthy person. Okay, here's a cheeseburger. I want to be I want to start my own business. I want to quit my job and I'm going to start my business and quit my job. Okay, well, the job that you hate is like, hey, we want to give you a raise. And you're not, oh, what? A raise? Okay. Well, I mean, it means the same bullshit I have to continue to go through, but it does mean more money. So I'm getting paid even though I fucking hate my job and it sucks the life out of me. I'll go ahead and take it. You are 100% being tested by whatever you want to call it. Okay. You have an open door in front of you, and your old identity, okay, is telling you that it's scary to walk through that door, so you need to stay here. Just stay here. We don't know what's ahead, and that's scary. So stay here, stay protected, because it's the same old shit. Yeah, but look, we've never died here. Okay, we're still alive. So even though it's the same old shit, it's shit you know. So just stay here. Okay, your intuition will never guide you through fear or anxiety. Your intuition will never be like, this is the path forward because if you don't take it, you will die. Your intuition will never do that. Okay, so I'm going to explain in the context of my meeting this morning this exact concept. Okay, a few weeks ago, I had a meeting with another company that specialized in something that I wanted to move forward with in my business. And this call felt great up until the point when he told me the price of their service. And it created a reaction in my body. Okay, it 100% did. It created a reaction in my body where I began to constrict. I was like, that's a lot of money. And I began to constrict. But I didn't have that feeling in the back of my head. But even as this number sat in my body, and I'm going to go take you through my process of how I processed through it. He starts talking more because he's like, we've had this meeting was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting and it went over an hour because I come to find out he was also a business coach, which was not presented from the beginning for me. And that's a red flag for me. You need to present yourself and your business and your services as they are on your website or in your email. I don't want to get into a meeting with you thinking that I'm hiring you for one thing and then come to find out you're really a business coach. So when we'd had this honesty throughout this whole meeting that felt amazing. And so I flat out said, I was like, dude, that's a lot of money. And he says, yes, but Morgan, are you abandoning yourself? And I went, okay. Now he got into what I call the sleazy sales tactics. He started to tear me down in an effort for me to see how important it was for me to pay him tens of thousands of dollars for what I thought was this simple like SEO type thing, and come to find out he was selling business consulting or business coaching. Okay, so at that moment the anxiety left me. I never got that feeling in the back of my neck. Everything just kind of dissipated. And this calm overtook me. And my gut on the inside just clearly said, fuck no. And it was just a knowing within me. Okay. So I sat there and listened to him, And then when I got to a point where I could talk again, I was like, thank you so much. This is just not going to work out. But thank you for your time today. You have a great day. And I ended the call. Okay. So intuition comes to you in a knowing. It does not come to you in anxiety or fear. Like what he was trying to do, he sat there and basically started to use my own words against me to knock me down so many pegs, to make me feel so small, to make me feel like I had to go with his choice or else I was going to die. Okay, so he was inflicting this on me. And that is when this calmness set over me and my intuition said, fuck no, we're done. And I was like, oh, okay, well, there's the feeling I needed, because of course new things are going to cause you, like, oh my gosh, do I take this leap? Do I not take this leap? But anxiety, intuition will never guide you. Okay. So for me, today's call, in contrast with this other company, like the whole time I'm talking with this guy, again, we have this amazing, honesty, openness. I'm asking him questions. He's giving me honest answers. And my whole system, I'm getting that little bit of scared feeling in me, but my whole system is going, this is a yes, you need to take this leap. It's just a knowing within me. Okay. So your nervous system's job is to detect the threats and keep you alive. Okay. What you've already done is safe. What you've already done is protected. What you've already done is comfortable. Okay. So these are why your old identity pops up to try and drag you back here. Okay. To keep you safe, to keep you alive. All right. So what I do when this pops up so that I can start to know the difference between, is this anxiety? Is this just fear of the unknown and I still want to take this leap? Like, what is my intuition really telling me? What are my next steps? There's 4 things that I have realized I go through. Okay. I didn't realize until I started writing this episode out that I was like, oh my God, I do this every single time. So the first step for me is I sit in the shit. I sit. Like I get off the call, or whatever it is. If something's presented to me, I sit in it and I allow the chest to constrict and I allow this feeling on the back of my neck to take over. Okay. And I sit in it because I cannot understand it unless I feel it. Plus, sitting in it, now I have identified chest restriction and the feeling on the back of my neck. So for a lot of people, they're going to get the chest restriction, but something else is going to happen physiologically in their body that they can identify as this old version of themselves trying to talk to them and trying to make some kind of like danger, danger, Will Robinson. Like it is your nervous system. It's your old identity throwing up red flags for you. And usually a lot of it will be in the chest. But for a lot of people, there's another sign that accompanies that's completely individual. Okay. So for me, it is that feeling on the back of my neck. So if I would have never sat with this information, if I would have just immediately felt uncomfortable and been like, oh, that's got to be a no, never mind, and then bypassed it, I would never have truly been able to explore this feeling within my body. And I would have never gotten to the second step, which is the neck thing. And for me, that's an instant clear, like, oh, this is my old identity trying to talk to me. They grab me by the neck, the back of my neck. That's what my old identity does to try and hold me back from walking through that door. Okay, so you have to sit in it. And then I listen to it. I allow it to talk to me. I remain very objective. I almost go at it from like an informative, like, okay, I'm collecting data at this point. So you old identity, you want my attention. You have caused this physiological reaction in me. So now state your case. I will listen. And that's what I do. Okay. Why do I do this? Because sometimes your nervous system, your old identities, they just want to be heard. Okay. The old parts of you want to voice their concerns. And I listen because I want all of the information given to me so that I can then make a decision. Okay. So if my old identity is saying, but you can't do this because we don't know what's ahead and it's scary and you just stay where you're. Okay. Well, I'm going to listen. You want my attention. You cause this physiological reaction in me. I will listen to you, but you listen objectively. Okay. You don't let it convince you because like I said in last week's episode, anxiety is a bitch and it will tell you lies. Okay. So you have to remove your emotion from it and listen to it objectively. Okay. Sitting in it also helps you truly feel it so that you can recognize it easily in the future. And it helps you get to the root cause so that you can identify objections to work through. Okay. This is also shadow working as well. You are getting to know yourself on a deeper level when you do this. Okay. You are taking the thing, what's presenting, what emotion is coming out. Is it anger? Is it anxiety? Is it frustration? Are you crying? Like, what is happening with you? And then you're asking, what's the deeper meaning? Why are you acting like this? So that's the first thing I do is I sit in the uncomfortableness and I get to know it. Intimately, I get to know it because I do not know myself until I know this part of me, this shadow, this fear, this anxiety. Okay. Step two, I then open myself to guidance. I have heard my old identity. I have heard my nervous system state its case. Okay, you're trying to keep me protected. I understand that. You're trying to keep me safe. You're trying to keep me alive. I get that. Oh, the last time, and your anxiety will lie to you, and you have to differentiate between the lies and the truths too. Like they'll be like, oh, do you remember the last time that we decided to do something similar to this and we just got really hurt and we're trying to not get you hurt. But then you have to be like, okay, but did we die? No, we got hurt. It's fine. I'm still alive. But that's when I open myself for guidance, okay? This is my chance to take all of the information I've been presented with at this moment, within my body, from my old identity. And now I say, okay, I'm going to open myself up to my higher self, my guides, and ask, okay, this is all of the information I've been presented with. What's truth? What's lie? How should I move forward? Okay. And so generally I will meditate, or I will at least close my eyes, take a few deep breaths, center, and then I will open myself to signs and synchronicities. And literally sometimes it is me saying, I don't know what I should be doing in this situation. So how do I truly feel about this? What is truth? What are lies? And what is the best step forward for my higher self? I will ask that out loud. What is the best step forward? How do I move forward with this information for my highest good, or the highest good of me and my family, or the highest good of me and my business? Like, is this the next aligned step that I need to take to grow, or to create change, or to do whatever it is you want to do? That's what I do. Okay. And then I open myself to synchronicities. A lot of them come through things like social media. A lot of them come through strange conversations with people, or conversations or subjects that will be brought up by different people at different times. These are synchronicities. So I do acknowledge my old identity again by saying, this is what my old identity is telling me. Okay. Is this what I want to do? Do I want to stay? Because we'll get to that in a second. You can stay, okay? Or do I want to move forward, okay? Then step 3, I take this one step further, okay? I do what I call the 2 futures visualization. I picture, again, usually this is done in meditation, or I will sit there with my eyes closed. And it is a little bit of a process. I mean, once you do it over and over again, you can almost get it down to about 5 minutes, honestly. But it does take practice. But I picture taking the leap, like, okay, I'm going to do this thing that's outside of my comfort zone. And then I think of all of the consequences, good and bad, that can come of this. Good and bad. Okay? How does this path make me feel? I've taken the leap. So basically I visualize, all right, I take this leap. What are the next steps that happen? What happens as a result of this? Okay, we roll the ball. I snowball in both a good and a bad direction. Okay, we're going to snowball first in the good direction. Okay, this could open up a lot of opportunities for me and my business. It could get me out to new people. It could increase our price. It could, we could hire a huge team. And I could become successful, and then I'm sitting on the Drew Barrymore show. I don't know, that's great. I love that. Okay. But this also has the negative of this, like, okay, we could invest all this money. It could turn out to be horrible. Then we're out this money. Like, does it eventually lead to my business closing? It could. I don't know. Depends on how bad we're snowballing here. But you have to almost do that. You have to what if your way all the way up to the most amazing thing and getting all of your dreams, desires. And then you have to what if all the way down to death almost. And that's if you take the leap. Then you decide, okay, and you see how that feels. Okay. You have to go with feeling again. How does this sit in your body? Continue to go back to your body. Then you picture staying the same. Like, okay, I'm going to decide to not take this leap. Now, based on that information, What is the best thing that can happen for me on this route? What is the worst thing that can happen to me on this route? Okay. And you see how that feels in your body. What you are aiming for, this is a little secret, you're aiming for expansion. You are aiming for the feeling of throwing your arms open and being able to breathe. Which one of these paths gets you there or makes you feel expanded the most? Because expansive energy with your arms wide open welcomes opportunities. Expansive energy with your arms wide open allows blessings and abundance to flow to you, okay? Restricted energy, when your shoulders fall forward and you want to protect yourself and you want to get in the fetal position, energy does not flow into that. You are restricting yourself from flowing, from anything flowing to you. You're in a defensive position to protect yourself from losing what you have instead of opening yourself to the possibility of what you don't have. Okay? Now, expansion doesn't mean safety. It means you're open to whatever happens. It could be shit. Okay? Or you can take the shit as it comes, learn from it, and continue to move forward in an expansive way. Okay? But that's what you're aiming for. Which one of these makes you feel expansive? And what path is making you feel restrictive and protected? And personally, no matter how scary it is, because you're never going to be without the butterflies, you know? If you have a huge leap to take, you're going to have more butterflies, but there's something in you that tells you, I cannot continue to do the same shit every day. I can't continue, like when you go down these paths of visualizing, chances are your nervous system will scream at you on some path. And for me, a lot of times, it's the thought of staying the same. It's the thought of, if I don't take this leap, then I'm going to have to do the same shit every single day and I will slowly die. Like, my same problems will exist. I will never get bigger. I will never, like, I'll have to continue to figure it out myself, or I'll have to continue doing the same shit that has already gotten me in this state that I don't want to be in and why I was looking for answers in the first place. So chances are your nervous system will scream at you and it will beg you, please do not continue to do the same old shit. I have broken down into tears numerous times during this process. Good tears, because as I visualized things going amazingly, I felt free. I could breathe again. And there was this relief that came with it that brought tears of joy. Like, oh my God, I could finally be free. I don't have to sit here and do the same shit all the time. Or I have also been brought to tears of my nervous system telling me, please do not continue to do the same shit. It will kill us slowly to just move in the same direction. We have to do something different. And I say we, because that's what happens in my head. It's like my head takes into account my mind, my body, my soul. We have to continue to move forward. We cannot continue to do the same shit. So just so that you know, both paths have consequences. Both paths have positive and negative consequences, or good and bad consequences, okay? But only one path has truth. And you cannot figure that out in your head. You have to get into your body to see that, to feel it, to know which one is correct for you. And you have to get to know your body so that when this shit pops up, you know which direction to go. The more that you practice this, the more that you embody this energy and go through this process, the quicker it becomes for you to make these decisions in the future, okay? So step 4 is you take actionable steps either way. Either way, no matter if you decide to stay or take a leap, you take actionable steps, okay? Staying then becomes a conscious choice, not a failure. You have weighed the pros and cons and you have decided, I will not be taking the leap at this time, okay? And let me tell you, I have decided to stay numerous times in my life. I am not always a leaper, okay? Because I understand that while, yeah, maybe I could have been further on my journey now if I would have taken all these leaps, okay? Or I understand now that maybe the reason I said no in the past, or I decided to stay the same, was because I didn't have the tools or the ability to hold the path that was moving forward for me. Okay. I had a lot of shit to work through, shadow work, a lot of self-image issues, a lot of self-confidence issues, a lot of receiving issues. Am I worthy to receive this? If you would have asked me things 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have been like, no, whoa, we don't want that. No, 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 no. And if your body's freaking out, then you're just going to continue to repel something. Even if you like spend thousands of dollars on making a decision to do something, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be successful at it. So I understand now that I wasn't able to hold those energies within me in a safe space. Now I'm able to hold them a lot better. So I make decisions now, based on, because I've gotten so in tune with my body and so in tune with how energy flows within my body, that I know, okay, if I take this leap, I have a better chance of holding it in safety within me than I did before. So I didn't have that ability before, so I said no. Okay. Leaping, you also have to keep in mind, so staying is a conscious choice now, all right? And leaping is a choice, but it is not a guarantee. It is not a guarantee of success, okay? Just because you take the leap, there is a chance of falling on your face. And that is something you have to go through. That is why step 3 is so important, of taking the time to say, okay, if I take this leap, what are the good and the bad? And the first negative of taking a leap should be, I could fall flat on my face. Like that's a given. You could quote unquote fail. I mean, to me, failing is just another learning. It's just a way of, failure is a misalignment of energy. So it's a time for you to recalibrate and figure it out again. That's my definition of failure. Okay. So even in failing, quote unquote failing, I learned so many lessons. All right. So leaping is a choice, but not a guarantee of success. And you have to have at least acknowledged this at some point during this process. There is a chance that you will fall on your face. There is a chance that this will be another life lesson of what not to do. Okay. But maybe it's the only way that you know how to, or it's the only way you're actually going to learn the lesson. Like, you don't know. Okay. Embodiment requires supporting your decision with action. So this is step 4. So you're taking actionable steps either way. Okay. You decide to stay. That's not failing. That's recalibrating. It's taking some steps to make sure that maybe in the future when this comes up, you can hold it then. Okay. So stay consciously and maybe start putting structures into place that would support the leap in the future. Okay. Like, okay, I'm not ready to invest $10,000 in this, but let me go ahead and tweak some things here or there. Let me get on a little bit stable grounding here. Let me take actionable steps forward. So when presented with this decision again, I can do that. Okay. Or if you leap, reinforce it with aligned actions that support it. Okay. Being half in and half out is just self-betrayal. That's a good one. Being half in and half out that's exactly what it is. By you deciding to try and keep one foot moving forward, but one foot staying safe in your protected present, you're not aligning yourself at all. You're splitting yourself. And therefore, you can't take actions forward and backward at the same time. If you try to take actions forward and backward at the same time, where does that leave you? Exactly where you are. So you have to make a decision one way or another. If you decide to still stay half-assed in, half-assed out, you're just going to get half-assed results. So once you get the hang of this, these 4 steps, it makes it easier to spot things and go through the steps faster in the future. Okay. For me, I now can easily identify anxiety versus intuition. I can also quickly get to a fuck yes or a fuck no within my body and within my nervous system. And for me, that's most of the battle. Once I have a clear fuck yes or fuck no, I'm good with it. Like when I was telling you earlier about the meeting I had a month or so ago, once it fell into my body as a fuck no, I was like, thank you for your time. Have a great day. And I never sat there and was like, oh my gosh, should I have done it? Should I have gone ahead and invested with them? Should I have done this? Oh my gosh, maybe I could be on this other path. Da, 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 da. No, I made the decision. I shut that door. It rested in my body. This meeting today, I have not said yes yet because I still have a team I have to talk to. But when we decide to move forward, it's going to be a yes. It's going to be a fuck yes from my body. So it's going to sit. It's going to be like, okay, we made this decision. Now we're going to take aligned action for it, towards it, okay, to support it, okay? Well, am I going to have butterflies here or there? Am I going to have little freakouts here and there? Yeah, because I'm in uncharted territory. I've never done this before. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've never been this version of me before. I've never made these decisions before. So you have to take it one day at a time. And it doesn't mean that once you make the decision, you take the leap, everything's going to be fucking golden. You still have to take aligned action. You still have to check in with your nervous system. You still have to check in with your body. And you still have to continue to do what is right for you. And that is embodying the energy. That it's coming back time and time again to embodiment of the energy you want to have to move forward. Okay. It has helped me quickly and easily embody the energy that you want to embody. You have your little freakouts, you don't bypass them. You have the freakouts, you get to the bottom of them, and then you go into your intuition and you say, okay, what am I supposed to do now? And sometimes even as you're going along the way, it'll be like, no, don't do that. And you're like, oh, all right, I won't do that. But it's never done through fear or manipulation or anxiety. Okay, it's just a knowing, it's a settling within. All right, so this is why I'm at the end of this today, but I cannot tell you guys enough about the Feral Witch Energy Embodiment Activation that I did. It is a $27 class on my website. I will link it into the show notes. In less than an hour, okay, the video is less than an hour. I take you from overthinking, doubting yourself, all of this, to embodying your creative magical energy, getting out of your head and into your body, okay? So with that guided practice, because there is an embodiment practice in there, I show you my exact way that I go out of my head and into my body. This class was born out of pure passion for me to take the information and the processes that I created for myself and share them with you all. Okay. So I will link it down in the show notes. It is only $27. If you're a Patreon member, you can get $5 off. You got to go searching through the Patreon archive thingies, but you'll find the coupon code for it. But yes, I cannot stress it enough. That class was born out of absolute passion for what I do, but my practice of embodiment, my personal practice that I go through all the time. Okay, so to get the Patreon bonus this week, I'm going to do a little deeper dive into step 1 of letting your identity speak. There are certain questions that I ask it to get to the bottom of the issue quickly. Okay, so that's what I'm sharing in the Patreon bonus content. When you go to patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations and you choose one of the paid tiers, you get the Patreon bonus content. Okay, the bottom tier is just $5 a month, and it gets you a shout out. And I do have my shout outs for the last couple of weeks. So I want to thank Rachel and Lyric and Leslie and Christina and Wendy for being new paid Patreon members and for supporting me as a witchy content creator sometime over the last couple of weeks. Thank you so much. But that's what I have for you all today. I want to thank you all for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it helps the algorithm know that this content is amazing and that it should be put out to more people who are magically curious just like you. But yes, thank you for listening or watching on YouTube, for giving me a platform to share what I do. I love doing this, and I will see you all next week. Bye.